everyone, welcome to yoga. My name is Kristee and today we're going to be working on some heart openers. Now heart openers are a little bit of a fancy way of saying back bend, but we don't like to say back bend too much because in yoga we want to think about opening the heart more and reaching that heart as far forward or as high up as we need to get without thinking about just, bending the back as far back as we possibly can. So today, obviously, if you do have issues in the lower back, please be careful. If your back is a bit temperamental, I would maybe do these movements with ease, maybe judge which movements you can do and are safe for you. If there is a chance of pregnancy, you're probably okay in the first trimester to do most of these movements. Once again, though, it is just based on your doctor's orders and on your personal feelings on it all. But anything beyond the first trimester, you might find a few of these poses a little bit hard to do because we are going to be on our stomachs for some of them. Today's class, because we are building our heart openers, we do want to make sure that we have a nice strong core as well. So our core includes the front, the sides and the back of our trunk. So we are going to be doing some moves that will help to strengthen that. And we're going to, of course, warm up our body through a sun salutation sequence of 3 rounds. We're going to start, as always, by settling into our bodies and finding just a little quick check-in through a short meditation. So if you do want to get onto the floor for that, you can, but if not, you can stay seated. We're just going to get comfy, close our eyes. If there are any little cracks or twists or turns that you need to get out of the way, please do. If you do have any neck or shoulder issues today, just make sure that they're feeling nice and warm before we do any of these movements and keep the head facing forward. If you want to now, you might like to move the head around a little bit, get it moving, get it feeling comfortable. And then closing down the eyes, connecting in with the breath and settling in for our check-in. The hands might like to be placed on the lap or on your knees. You can also place them on the stomach, the chest, or one of each. And we're just going to breathe naturally and comfortably. I'm not trying to change the breath right now. We're just noticing how the breath is moving in and out of our bodies. Are we breathing in through our nose or our mouth? Are we breathing out through our mouth or our nose? Are our breaths shallow? Are they a little bit deeper, moving down towards the stomach? And then if you can, I'm going to try to lengthen that breath just a little bit more to try and breathe a little bit deeper towards the stomach. With each breath, let those shoulders drop down away from the ears. You might like to check in with other areas of the body, other injuries. Or maybe areas that are feeling just a little bit off today, a little bit stiff and sore. Or maybe even areas that are feeling really open and awake and energetic. Just a few more breaths here. And then when we're ready to, we're going to start to wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes. I'm going to take a big breath in. We're going to reach those arms up overhead. Just grab those fingertips, interlace them together, and we're just going to give ourselves a nice little sway side to side. You can blink open those eyes if you'd like to, or you can keep them closed. And we take the body as far over as feels comfortable, just giving ourselves a nice little move around here. And if you want to, you can also turn those palms to face out, and that might change the stretch for you too. We're going to deepen this side body stretch that we're getting here. You're going to take one hand down to the ground, reach the other hand over. If you want to deepen the stretch, you might bend that elbow down towards the ground. Then we're going to take it over to the other side. Hand down, reaching over. You might like to bend into it. Keep it nice and light. The body's still not really warmed up yet. This is part of our warm-up, so it's just giving the body the room to move around. Since we are doing our heart openers, we are going to be focusing on the chest, but we do still want to make sure our side body and the rest of our torso is feeling nice and open. Once we've done that, we're going to roll those shoulders back. We're going to roll those shoulders forward, and we're going to do a quick little twist too. So we're going to take our hand to our opposite knee and then place the other arm behind you, using both together to push and pull. Give a nice little twist to look out across the back shoulder. Slowly coming back to center, swapping sides. Hand over and a nice little twist. Slowly bringing yourself back to center. We are going to bring those feet together into our Baddha Konasana, our butterfly pose. You can give those knees a little bounce up and down, and then once you've gotten enough space in those hips, we're going to walk those hands forward, slowly sinking down through the head, bringing those chins towards the ground, bringing the forehead towards the ground as well. If you're not quite feeling comfortable here, you can straighten out the legs instead into a nice little wide V. And then slowly bringing the body in. We're going to move through our sun salutations now. So bringing those legs together. There's two ways to get up here. You can either come up to a seated position and straight up to stand, or we're going to take those hands behind the knees, tuck the chin in towards chest. We're going to give ourselves a little rock up and down along the spine. This is one of my favorite ways to get up to a standing position. It's a nice little energetic way to do things. It does also give a nice little massage across the spine. You can rock as big or as small as you want to. And then if you can, we're going to come up to a standing position in our rock without touching the floor. Or once again, you can come up to seat and then to stand. We're going to come to the front of our mat, big toes touching, heels slightly apart. We are going to stack the body weight here, hips over the feet, shoulders over those hips. Draw those shoulder blades together with a nice open heart here and a slight tuck to the chin. We're going to take 6 breaths here as we lift up through those arms at the same time. Inhale, reaching up through those arms. Exhale, slowly bringing those hands down, palms together through the front of the body. 5 more, but we're going to count the breath this time. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, inhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. For the next 3 breaths, you might like to keep counting, and you also might like to really reach open, lift that chest up to the sky, and then exhale, bring that head back down. Inhale. Exhale down. We're really taking the time to deepen the breath here. Last one, inhale. Exhale down. Inhale, reaching up through those arms. We're going to exhale, swan dive forward, reach down for those toes. They might feel a bit far away, that's okay. Give yourself a nice little dangle here. You can either catch onto the elbows if you want to, or you can keep those arms nice and loose. This is our forward fold. We are going to be coming down here and giving our spine the time it needs to decompress, to release out. And the backs of our legs might also get a little bit of a stretch at the same time. Slowly releasing out through those arms, we're going to inhale, trace the hands along the fronts of the legs, straightening out through the spine for our halfway lift. Slight look forward, breathing out, rounding down, forward fold. We're going to do 5 more. Inhale, straighten the spine. Exhale, rounding down, forward fold. Inhale to lift. We straighten the spine. You might like to straighten the legs at the same time. Might give a little stretch across the backs of the knees. Breathing out. Inhale. Exhale down. Inhale. And releasing, rounding out. Last one. Big breath in. And then breathing out. Hands onto either sides of the feet. We're going to step back with our right leg, stepping back with our left leg, coming into our downward facing dog. If you do need a bit more space for the hips, you can step those feet further apart,
We are going to pedal out those feet one at a time, so taking one heel to the ground at a time, bending into those knees. I call this walking the dog. It just gives you a little bit more space through the backs of the legs. You might find that for the first few rounds, or the first round and into the second, that everything's a little bit tight. So we're going to take the time here in this first round to loosen things up, but then come to some stillness and find our alignment for our down dog. So we want a nice straight spine here. You can bend those knees if you do need to protect the lower back. You're bringing your stomach towards your thighs and your heels are reaching for the floor. It's okay if they're not touching, but they're searching for that floor at the same time. Our ears are right in between our arms. We're then going to inhale, draw the body weight forward to a plank position, shoulders in line with those wrists. Take those knees down, untuck the toes. Exhale, guide the body down, leading through the heart. And then inhale, lifting up through our baby cobra, pressing down through the tops of the feet. Hands are doing a little bit of work here, but not too much. We want to squeeze through those glutes and find that nice little heart opener here. Already getting into it. Tucking in those toes, pushing back via the knees, lifting up through the knees for our downward facing dog. Once again, have a bit of a play here. Take your dog for a walk. Give your legs the room they need. And then inhale, lifting up through the right leg for three-legged dog. Step that leg in between the fingertips. If you need to walk it forward with the hand, you can. Stepping forward, left leg, halfway lift, nice flat back. Breathing out, rounding down, forward fold. Inhale, two, rise up. And then breathing out, bringing those hands back down. And the other side, inhale. Exhale down. Halfway lift, forward fold. Stepping back, left leg, stepping back, right leg, downward facing dog. Once again, find your space here. We have time in the first round. We can take a little bit of a walk. Finding your stillness. Inhale, drawing the body forward to plank. You can take those knees back down to the ground or you can keep them up this time. Exhale, guide the body down, leading through the chest. Elbows in towards the sides. Inhale, lifting to either your baby cobra or you might like to straighten those arms to lift to your upward facing dog. Your hips are lifting off the floor as we press the tops of our feet in towards our mat. If you do have wrist issues, you can take your hands into fists here with the thumbs facing forward and it might be a little bit more comfortable for you instead. Taking yourself back either via the knees or straight from your upward facing dog, you can flip those feet through our plank to our downward facing dog. We can inhale, lift up through the left leg for three-legged dog. Step that leg in between the fingertips. Step forward, right leg. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Breathing down, rounding out, forward fold. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, hands to heart. Second round, let's pick up the pace. Inhale, lifting up through the arms. Exhale, swan dive forward. Big breath in, halfway lift. Breathing out, rounding down, forward fold. Stepping back right, stepping back left, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank, and then we're going to exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. I know I tricked you. We're going to do that again. Inhale forward to plank, and now we can exhale, slowly take our body down. Inhale to upward facing dog or baby cobra. So the reason I moved back and forth there, we're building a little bit more strength through our midsection as we flow back and forth from our plank to our down dog. And we're going to build on that each round. Exhale, taking it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting up through the right leg, three-legged dog. Step that leg in between the fingertips. Take the back knee down to the ground. Untuck the toe. Check in on the front knee. We want our knee to be in line with our ankle. Inhale, lifting those arms up into our low lunge. If your shoulders need a bit of room, you can bend those elbows into cactus. Now today is all about the heart openers. So I'm going to give you an option here to include a heart opener, not a harp opener, this isn't a music class, a heart opener into your low lunge. You can keep the knee further forward. If you're wanting to stay here, just keep those hands up, or you can take them onto the knees. But if you want a heart opener today, we're going to take those hands, clasp them behind our lower back, thumbs facing up and pinkies facing down. We're going to inhale and slide the hand along the back of the thigh. It's a little bit of work here, but it's going to give you a deeper stretch through the hips as long as you keep that front knee nice and bent. Your head can look up or it can look slightly forward. We want to keep it nice and comfortable though. And we're still breathing here. Bit of a balancing act, so if you're finding you're wobbling, that's okay. It just means you're working hard. Slowly slide the hands back up and then bring those hands down onto either side of the foot. Tuck in the toe, lift the knee off of the ground. Inhale, stepping it forward, halfway lift. Breathing out, rounding down, forward fold. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, hands to heart. We're halfway through. Inhale. Exhale down. Halfway lift. Breathing out. Stepping back left leg, stepping back right leg, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank. Once again, tricked you, take it back to downward facing dog. This is called our flow. Inhale forward to plank, and now we're able to take it down. But see if you can slow down that movement and float off of the floor. Inhale, lifting up to your upward facing dog or baby cobra, whatever's more comfortable for your spine. And then exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting up through the left leg, three-legged dog. Step that leg in between the fingertips, back knee down, untuck the toe, check in on the front knee, nice and comfortable and safe. Bring those hands up to either a cactus position or directly up towards the ceiling. Once again, keep the bend in the front knee. We want our knee in line with our ankle at all times. If you want to do your heart opener again, interlace the fingers behind the back, pinkies facing down, thumbs facing up. Inhale and slide the hand down along the thigh. Keep the bend in the front knee. You can look up or you can look slightly forward. You will notice that the stretch deepens across the hip. Keep that bend in the knee and that will deepen the stretch too. Make sure you're still breathing here. If I can talk, you can breathe. Inhale, slowly slide those hands up towards the back. Release those hands out onto either side of the foot. Tuck in the back toe. Lift the knee off the ground. Inhale, stepping forward. Halfway lift, breathing out. Rounding down, forward fold. Inhale, rising up. Exhale. Slowly take it down. Final round. Inhale. Exhale down. Halfway lift. Breathing out. Stepping back right leg, stepping back left leg, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to our plank. We've been doing our flows though, so we're going to take it back. And then we're going to do it one more time. Inhale forward and take it back. This time we inhale forward to our plank, and if you want to challenge yourself, we're going to really slow down our Chaturanga Dandasana, that slow push-up, and then we're going to float off the floor for a few moments. Make sure you're not touching the ground, and then inhale, lifting up to our upward facing dog or baby cobra. That one does take time. If you are still noticing that you're dropping through those hips, you can take those knees down to the ground and poke the butt out a little bit as you lower the chest more, and that might help to build that strength through the arms. Exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting up through the right leg, three-legged dog. Step that leg in between the fingertips. We're going to keep our back knee up this time. If you do want to still take it down, you are more than welcome to. We're going to do a high lunge today. So we're going to keep that back heel off of the floor and then inhale, lift up through the arms. It's a bit of a balancing act. So if you are finding that you're a little bit wobbly, you can take the hands onto the hips or you can hold onto a wall. Finding your cactus arms if you need space for the shoulders. We need to have a deep bend in that front leg. Back leg is nice and straight. You can have a slight bend in the knee if you need to, and the heel is off of the ground. We're going to add in a heart opener here. So before we had our hands behind our back and we slid ourselves back, a little bit hard to do that when we're upright. We don't have our knee on the floor. So instead, we're going to keep our hands in cactus. Then we're going to inhale, lift through the chest and guide the heart towards the ceiling. So this is going to give you that heart opener. But as I said at the start of class, we're really focusing on lifting through that heart rather than crunching and collapsing through that back. So you shouldn't feel it too much in that lower back. You should feel nice and strong and supported through that heart space. slowly bringing the body back out of that one. Hands on either side of the foot, stepping forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Breathing out, rounding down, forward fold. Inhale to guide the body up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale. Exhale down. This is our final side, our final round. Inhale, halfway lift. Breathing out, forward fold. Stepping back, left leg, then right. Downward facing dog, 2 flows. Remember, inhale forward to plank. Keep those hips in line with the chest. Exhale, take it back to downward dog. And again, inhale forward. Exhale, take it back. You can always cut those out if they're not right for you. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale, slowly guide the body down. Inhale to upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, floating up through the left leg, 3-legged dog. Step that leg in between the fingertips. Once again, we're going to be doing our high lunge so the heel stays off the floor. Find your balance. Inhale, lifting up through those arms. If this is ever too low for you, you can step that foot in a little bit closer. Might also find that it helps with your balance. Keeping a bend in the front knee, back leg fairly straight. You can slightly bend it if you'd like to. That's going to deepen it through the thighs. Hands into cactus, lifting up through the heart. Exhale, guide the heart to the ceiling, head staying facing forward. We don't want to take it all the way back. The neck wouldn't enjoy that. And also it makes you a little bit wobbly, as you saw, I almost fell over there. We're going to keep that heart lifting towards the ceiling the whole time. We're in this pose. And then we're going to exhale, slowly come out, hands reaching down to the ground, stepping forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Breathing out, rounding down. Inhale to rise up. Exhale. Well done, everyone. Those were our 3 rounds. You can grab a drink if you need to. I sure do. Hopefully we're feeling nice and open through that chest. We are going to do some side body stretches. Another heart opener. Doesn't matter where you stand for this one. I'm going to stand facing forward. We're going to bring our feet nice and close together. Like we did our standing stretch before, we want to keep it nice and stable. If our legs are too far apart, we're not going to feel as much of the stretch here. Inhale, lifting up through the arms, taking your hands and interlacing the fingers together. I like to have a pointer finger through my thumb and my pointer finger. I call it a Charlie's Angels finger grip. Keeps it nice and comfortable through those wrists. Okay, taking the elbows a little bit bent so you've got some room through the head and neck. Inhale, lifting up through the arms. We're going to exhale, take our body over to one side. Once again, sometimes in class you might get told which side to do. You're at home though, we're going to do both sides anyway, so you can pick and choose. You will notice a difference across the sides. So if you're currently leaning over towards your left side and you're right-handed, you'll notice you're getting the stretch through your right side a bit more, and it might feel quite comfortable because you're used to reaching up with that right hand. We do want to keep the chest nice and open here, so make sure you're not closing off through that armpit. We want to open and air it out. And then we're going to deepen this stretch a little bit by airing it out even more and lifting the chest up towards the side of the room that you're bending away from. Slowly bring it back to center, bringing it up into the middle. Take a few moments here. And then we're going to take it over to the other side. Keep the side of the body nice and open. So as I said before, if you're right-handed and you were reaching over to the left side, you'll be getting that nice little stretch. Now we're reaching over to the right side, you'll be getting the stretch on the left side of the body. And it might not feel as long or as open. I want you to still stay within your comfort level across each side of the body. We're going to open that chest a little bit more, so guiding the chest open through the armpit. And then slowly returning to center, bringing it back into the middle. I'm going to turn to the side so just you can see what's happening here. You can keep those hands up if you'd like to. This is going to be a bit of a stronger position. You're going to feel this stretch a little bit lower down through the bottom of the sternum here. Or if you'd like to, you can take those hands And to protect the lower back, they can be tucking into some little imaginary pockets, those fingertips facing down, thumbs facing out, and elbows drawing in together. This is going to bring the stretch a little bit higher up towards the collarbones. Whichever arm position you've chosen, we're going to inhale, lift through the chest and heart, and guide the heart up towards the ceiling. Remember that our arms shouldn't be doing all of the work here. They're there to support you, but they're not there to do all of your work. We're keeping that heart open towards the ceiling, and then we're going to slowly guide our body back out. Now, since we've done a few heart openers here, we're going to space open those feet, and we're going to give our heart a little bit of time to resettle, our back to slowly release out, and we're going to move through a little bit of a ragdoll, forward folding down, bending those knees as much as you need to. And once you reach the ground, you can give yourself a little sway side to side. This is going to feel really nice for the spine. It has done a lot of work just then. Side body is going to get a little bit of a stretch too in this one. And as I promised you before, we want to make sure that our core across our trunk is nice and strong. So we're going to be doing chair pose. Bringing those hands to the ground, slowly walking those feet nice and close together. You don't have to have them touching, but as long as they're nice and close, they're going to give you a strong and supportive base. We're going to bring those legs together, swing those arms up alongside the body as if you're going to ski down the mountainside, and then slowly lift those arms up as you sink down into an invisible chair. Chair pose. I like to call this lightning bolt pose too, because you kind of look like a lightning bolt, and you might also feel like you're getting struck by a lightning bolt a little bit. We want to keep a nice little tilt in the hips. So if you're not feeling this too much, you can tilt closer towards the thighs through the body. We want to sink down into that chair. Your legs are going to be on fire. And you should also feel it through your tummy. Make sure you're still breathing here. Sink down a little bit lower. And then slowly release out. Round it forward. Space those feet apart again if you need to. Give yourself a release out. Well done, everyone. If you really want to, you can stay in that for longer, but we are going to be doing some more strengthening moves once we get down onto the ground. Walk those hands forward, walk those feet back, downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet in down dog. Give yourself a few moments here. And then we're going to bring our knees to the ground, untuck the toes. We're going to move through child's pose. So there's two variations to child's pose. Child's pose with the legs together. You can take those hands towards the feet and bring the forehead down to the ground. If you have high or low blood pressure, you can take those hands under the head, or you can place a pillow or a block there too. Knees apart and feet together. We reach those hands forward. Same if you do have high or low blood pressure though, place something under the head. Give yourself a few moments here in whichever child's pose feels comfortable for you. Connect back in with the breath. Let the spine release out a little bit, either along the tops of those legs or between the hips. And then we're going to slowly walk our bodies forward and bring ourselves onto our hands and knees for what's called tabletop position. If you do have sore wrists and they're starting to get a little bit too much here, like I mentioned before, you can bring your hands into fists, or you can place your hands onto a block as well. We want to take our knees in line with our hips, our shoulders in line with our wrists, and we're going to move through some cat-cows. So we're going to take a big breath in, look up towards the ceiling, draw the chest down towards the ground, and then exhale, tuck the chin in towards the chest, pushing up through the shoulder blades. Inhale to look up, and exhale to look down. So cat-cow are two different movements, but they're often used together. As you inhale and look up, this is our cow, and as you exhale and look down, this is our cat. Take a few moments here, moving back and forth between the two, and then once you've had enough, we are going to bring ourselves down onto the ground on our stomachs. If you are still doing a few more, feel free to do a few more, but we are going to come down to the ground now. We're going to take those hands alongside the body and turn our head to face the side of the room. Allow the body to rest into the floor here. So this next one is called locust pose, and I like to call it Superman pose sometimes because you do have the options to extend the arms up and make it a little bit more challenging if you'd like to. We're going to start with those hands alongside the body at first though, bringing those legs nice and close in together. Turn the palms to face in towards the body. Inhale, turn the chin down to the ground and lift the body off of the floor so that you're balancing just on the stomach. Our hands are alongside the body, shooting up. If you want to, like I said, you can bring those hands up, but that is a little bit more challenging, so make sure it feels comfortable for the shoulders as well as the neck. We're still breathing here. It's a bit of hard work because we're squeezing so much of everything, but hopefully you're feeling nice and strong through those legs, arms, and through the midsection, and then slowly release out. Allow your body to soften and flatten into the ground. You can turn the head to face the other side if you'd like to as well. Give yourself a few moments here, and then we're going to do one more stretch. We're going to flex those feet and bend those knees and bring them close towards our body. We're going to reach for the ankles. If you do need to, you can use a strap here to help if you're not quite able to get there. We want to keep our thighs as close to the ground as they can get and keep those feet flexed so that the legs stay nice and active. Chin to the ground again. Inhale. This time you're going to push the shins backwards. Keep the thighs nice and close to the floor as you bring yourself up. This is a nice strong stretch called bow pose. Now, unfortunately, you're the arrow in this situation, so make sure when you come out of it, you come out of it slowly and make sure your hands are nice and secure around the ankles so you don't slingshot yourself forward. We're still breathing here. Quite a bit of work for our heart, and our arms and legs are doing plenty of work here too. And then slowly releasing out. Releasing those legs, releasing the hands, turn the head to face the side. Give yourself a few moments here, let everything soften out. And then take those hands, bring yourself back to child's pose. Few moments here before walking those hands back up, bringing yourself up. We're going to do camel pose and then we're going to finish off the class with one last little strengthening pose. So our hips are in line with our knees here. You can keep those feet flat or you can flex those feet if you'd like to. We want to try and keep the hips facing forward in our camel pose. So make sure you're not going to sink back here. Imagine that you're up against a wall. We're going to bring those hands back. Once again, like we're tucking them into some imaginary jeans. Elbows are coming in, fingertips are facing down, thumbs are facing out. We're going to inhale, lift through the heart, and exhale, guide the chest towards the ceiling, keeping those hips facing forward. Head stays looking up or a little bit forward. We don't want to take it back. The neck won't like that. If you think you're able to, you can take those hands down towards the legs. If your toes are tucked, it might be a little bit more comfortable, but we do want to keep those hips facing forward here. Nice strong position here, nice deep heart opener, nice good stretch on the fronts of the hips too. Stay here for a few breaths and then bring the hands back to that lower back. Slowly guide the body out. Bring yourself down onto your bottom and we're going to roll forward into a child's pose. Take those hands towards the feet. Really relax into this. Slowly bringing the body up. We're going to strengthen just to finish off and then do some nice little twists. So our last strengthening pose is boat pose. We're going to shimmy ourselves onto our sit bones, bring those legs close together, hands onto the ground. We're going to lift the feet off of the floor, keep the back nice and straight. Your hands can be along the floor for some balance. They can be just tickling the backs of the knees, or you can bring them alongside the body. You can straighten the arms out overhead and straighten the legs too if you'd like to. We just want to keep the focus on our midsection, make sure it's staying nice and strong, and make sure you're still breathing here. It's okay if your boat's rocking a little bit. It's just on some stormy seas. It means it's doing a lot of work. And then slowly bring the body down. let's twist to release out that heart and back. We're going to straighten out our left leg, take our right leg across our body. You can bend this leg in or keep it straight. We're going to take our opposite arm, so our left arm across our right leg. Use both together to push and pull to create a nice little twist here. The spine always loves some twists after those heart openers. Bring yourself back to center, counter twist, keep those legs where they are, just twist the other way. That's another way to keep the spine happy. Slowly bring yourself, unravel the leg, straighten out the right leg this time, hug it in the left leg across the top, right arm over the left leg, other hand behind you, using both together to push and pull to create a nice little twist. And then inhale back to center, little counter twist. Slowly releasing out those legs, coming down onto the ground. Going to do a little twist side to side, hug those knees in, extend out those arms, palms turning up towards the ceiling. Let those knees fall over towards one side, but don't let them drop completely before bringing them back to the middle, taking them over to the other side, and then continue to the middle and over. Bring them back and over. Take them as deep as you can get them while still bringing them up. This will feel really nice on that lower back. It's a bit of traction, a bit of space. And then once you've had enough of rocking side to side, you can let those legs rest on the ground if it feels comfortable. The closer the knees are to the chest, the deeper the stretch will be. You can always take the hand down and pull a little bit to create a deeper stretch. Bring it over to the other side. We always want to make sure we're doing both sides. Once again, you can take those arms down and pull the legs towards the floor. Bring it back into center. Hug those knees in nice and close. We're going to open out through the hips in our happy baby. Hands on the insides of the knees, the outer edges of the feet, soles of the feet towards the ceiling, knees in nice and close. Give yourself a rock side to side. Happy baby feels a little bit odd, looks a little bit odd too. If you do need to, you can take your hands to the calves or around the legs instead, behind the knees. And then slowly bringing those legs together, extending out those legs. We've done a lot of heart openers today, so the lower back might be feeling like it needs a bit more love, and if that's the case, you can space those feet a little bit further out, or instead of having them straight, you can bend those knees, take those knees together and those feet wide apart, and then close down, settling in for a very quick meditation. If you'd like to make your meditation longer, feel free to pause the video, move through your meditation, or you can just stay here for the final part a little bit longer. Closing down the eyes, connecting in with the breath. We focused on our heart today, and that's where we're going to draw our attention. Maybe try to notice if you can feel that heartbeat, you can hear that heartbeat. You might like to imagine that with each breath, you're drawing in a particular colour or light or word that brings your heart a little bit of joy, a little bit of warmth, maybe a happy memory. Take a moment to thank your body for what it was able to do today. The strength or balance, stamina, flexibility that it had. And then slowly start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Walk those feet together. Take a big breath in, reach those arms up overhead, straighten out those legs. Slowly bend those knees, roll over to one side in a little fetal position. You can use the arm as a nice little pillow for the head. You can keep those eyes closed if you'd like to. And then coming up to a comfortable seated position. Bringing the hands to the heart space in Anjali Mudra. You can slowly blink open those eyes. I would like to thank you for your time today. Please keep on moving throughout the day. If this was something new to you, your back might be talking to you today. Hopefully it's a good talking though. Hopefully you enjoyed the movement that you brought. Hopefully you feel like your heart is a little bit more open, your breath is a little bit deeper. Give some twists throughout the day if you need. Do some forward folds if you need to as well. And I will hopefully see you again next time. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Thank you and namaste.